YouTubers, Electric Adventures here with the first in a new series of videos that I'm going to call Homebrew Community News. Probably won't even have flashy titles or anything like that. These videos won't be long, unlike some of my pick up and play videos which have been getting very long lately, but it's just to, I'm a homebrew programmer myself and quite interested in homebrew games for the retro systems. So I thought I'd just do a semi-regular, I'm not going to commit to any schedule either, news show on what's happening out there in the community. Now I'll start this particular episode mainly because the MSX development competition that has run pretty much every year for the last 10 years or so has come to a close and is in the voting stage. And this year there are actually 10 complete entries. Now these are 10 complete games, so it takes quite a bit of effort to write a game for a retro system, and it's amazing the number and the quality of entries. They're well worth a look. Now I'm going to read out a list of them. They're in no particular order, and I might pop some screenshots up to the side just so you can get a little bit of a taste. So first one is Jawbreaker 2, which is based on the old Jawbreaker game for the Atari 2600. Now, hopefully my pronunciation of some of these are okay. There's Libraway. I'm not 100% sure what that one's about. And the third one, which I'm particularly interested in, and I'll talk some more about, is called Iridium. Then we have Pretty Kingdom, Zero and Castle Infinite, Gorgeous Gemma in Escape from Space, Destroyer, CMJN, Naiad Resistance, and Mr. Cracksman. Some very interesting titles. As I said, you saw some screenshots there. I'll also include some links to where you can go and check out those games. Because part of the rules of the competition, there is a freely downloadable ROM that you can play in an MSX emulator for every game that's in the competition. And some of them, and this is particularly another reason why I wanted to do this video, are actually coming out in cartridge form. And one of the ones that I'm particularly excited about myself is that one of my favourite games on the Commodore 64 was actually Iridium. And it had wonderful smooth scrolling and sound effects and quite hard gameplay. I mean, it's a shoot 'em up, and I'm a shoot 'em up sort of guy. So what somebody has done, and this is for the MSX1 mind you, which has no hardware scrolling whatsoever, and the screen, although it has quite a high resolution screen, higher resolution than the Commodore 64, most of the screen's laid out in 8x8 tiles, and you can't offset those, so there's no way of smoothly scrolling the machine in hardware. You've got to do it all in software. So through a miraculous feat of programming by this person, they have actually managed to do a smooth scrolling Iridium that is quite colourful and high resolution detail. The sprites have got a lot of detail and multiple colours, and it plays very close to the Commodore 64 original. It has to be seen to be believed. It's coming out on a physical cartridge release as well, which you're allowed to do as part of the competition, but usually you have to make it different. So what they're doing is they're actually adding extra levels, adding some more music, and just making an enhanced version that'll make buying a cartridge worthwhile. So I'll put a link down below to the place where you can go to pre-order one of those. It's great to support homebrewers. The more support you give them, the more chance they'll make some of these games. Now the place you'll go to order that, there are also a number of other reproduction cartridges as well, which are interesting. I might look into as well. I'm not particularly into reproductions. I prefer to have the original cartridges, but some of the games there are rather expensive and I've never seen a copy of it, so might be tempted at some stage. Perhaps I'm even, rather than self-publishing my own titles, when I republish them for the MSX, I may get these guys to do it, because the quality of their work is excellent. The recent Muffy's Coleco conversions, which is the cartridge you can see over my shoulder on the shelf there with the Tutankhamun face on it, those guys actually produced that, and the quality of that was outstanding. So So another one of the ones that's coming out on cartridge is the Jawbreaker 2 game. I haven't actually played that one yet. I need to download a copy and have a go. But that one looks pretty good. Jawbreaker was a Pac-Man style game with a difference. Was quite a good game on the Atari 2600, so I'll be interested to see what the MSX version is like. Now also there is a chance that both of these games will be converted across to the ColecoVision as well, so we'll have to see how they go with timing. Coleco can have some difficulty with timing, and especially if you're pushing the system to the limit, as that Iridium probably is. But Jawbreaker, I believe the author already has it running on the ColecoVision. He just has to redo all the sound, different sound processors, so you've got to write it all again. Yeah, of recent note, both of the two different authors of those two different software have now appeared on the ColecoVision forums as well, so I'd expect some activity there. So hopefully this video, I haven't waffled too long, but that's the general format of this particular show that I'm going to do from now on. I'll try and do it at least once a month, just depends on when news becomes available, but there's lots of homebrew activity out there, so I'll be doing some searching and lining things up, and it won't all be for the MSX. I'll be covering obviously the ColecoVision, but there's heaps of homebrew out there for the Commodore 64 and the Spectrum and the Amstrad and quite a few other systems, so I'm going to do a bit of a hunt. If anybody knows anything in particular that I've heard about that I haven't mentioned, feel free to message me, and I'll happily include you in the video as well. So hope you've enjoyed this video and this series. Thanks to all my subscribers, and I'll catch you all later.